Hello guys, it's me, Starly Cactus, and today I wanted to record a somewhat unusual type of video for my channel. I mean, my channel doesn't really have usual kind of videos, like, does that make sense? But this is definitely the first time many of you will be hearing my voice, I think. Although I did show my own voice in the past on this channel, all the videos that have it are now private, and even then, they were from before I actually had my voice crack. Like, it was basically my kid voice, if that makes sense. So this is definitely the first time I've ever actually revealed my current voice in public on the internet. So there's that. And what do I wanna do in today's video? Well, you see, I kinda need some ideas to do videos because I don't know, I wanna actually try to do something with this channel. I feel like it has potential. I mean, I do have like 300 subs, don't I? So I decided that today I'm gonna show off my collection of Nintendo DS and 3DS cartridges, and I've ordered them here in my console case in chronological order of when I obtained them, and we're gonna go over them very soon. And just as a disclaimer, I collected all of these quite recently. Like, when I bought these, all the games were already pretty old, kind of, because I didn't get a 3DS until I was like 9, and even then I didn't get many games for it. I started collecting like way after. Most of the stuff I played was from emulators on my mom's computer, so yeah, I started actually collecting physical games way later. Let's start with what is my first physical game that I got for the console, which is Pokemon Sun. Here I got this one for Christmas of 2017, and it's actually the game that on the 3DS, and I think actually in general, I have the most hours on. I have like 560 hours on this game. However, the bad thing is that sometime around 2022, I think, the save file in this cartridge got corrupted beyond repair, so I had to wipe the save, and some time ago I tried starting a new playthrough, but like, I kinda forgot to continue. I barely have gotten past Hala, so yeah, there's that. Now the second game I got for the 3DS was Pokemon Ultra Moon. I got this in May of 2018, and I remember when I first bought Sun, I really wanted Ultra Moon, but the store didn't have it, so I bought Sun. So when I went to a different GameStop and saw that they actually had Ultra Moon, I was pretty happy. I was like, oh hell yeah, finally I can play this game. And I also loved this game to death. It's still one of my favorite video games in general. I have, I think, like 450 something hours on it, but yeah, it's also one of my favorite games. It's very dear to me. I might go over like a video showcasing my save. I have a lot of shinies on here. Overall, yeah, it's a game I'm pretty attached to. Then next we have Pokemon Alpha Sapphire, and this was the present for my 11th birthday. So like, I also got this one in May of 2018, and I also have, as you could expect, a lot of hours on here, but nearly not as much as I do on Sun and Ultra Moon. I have, I think, like 200 something hours on here, but like, it's also a game I hold there. Yeah, and now the fourth game I got for the 3DS was Pokemon Y, and I remember I got this in I can't remember if I got it at the end of August of 2018 or at the start of September of the same year, but I remember that I was in vacation far from home, and I was like the entire time, oh man, as soon as I return home, I wanna go to GameStop and buy this game, because this was the time where I started to play my Pokemon games physically, and I was so excited to buy this one as well. And this is actually the Pokemon game I've replayed through the most. I've played to completion this game 3 times. It's a game that I do enjoy, despite it not being well received by the community, especially like when it released, and actually still even when I got it when it was already 5 years old, it still wasn't quite well received yet. Now though, people are starting to get nostalgic over it already, which is crazy to me. Like, didn't you guys fucking hate this thing like some years ago? What's up with all the switch up now? Now, next, I got Omega Ruby, and yes, I have both Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. And the thing with this game is, at first, for my birthday, I did want Omega Ruby and not Alpha Sapphire, but GameStop didn't have Alpha Sapphire, so the person who had to get me Omega Ruby got me Alpha Sapphire instead, and I was like, okay, fine. So what I did was ask my grandma for this one for Christmas in 2018. So I got this one in December of that year, and I remember I was also away from home when my grandma bought this one, so the entire time I was away from home, I was also excited, thinking like, man, I gotta play this thing, man, I gotta play this thing, man, I gotta play this thing. And like, yeah, I also really love this game. It's one of my favorites. Now, this is my first DS game that I actually own physically, Pokemon Y2, and as you can see, Italian cartridges for the 3DS had the English names on them, but DS ones had the Italian names, and this is also true for French, German, and Spanish, of course, like all the PAL languages. But like, okay, so the story with this game is kind of funny. I got it in February 2019, and the thing is, this originally belonged to my friend, but like, I was like, hey man, can I borrow it? And he was like, yeah, sure, I'm not playing this one. So like, I played it, and he was like, hey man, can you give it back to me? And I was like, can you like let me have it for a little longer? And this went on for literally 5 years, until my friend was like, hey man, it's you've had this game for like 5 years, can I have it back? So the thing I did was give him money and tell him, buy another copy from eBay, and he did that, and we finally ended the entire ordeal about this cartridge of Y2. But yeah, this is also one of my favorite games. I think this is actually my favorite Pokemon game on the DS, and like my second favorite Pokemon game in general. My first one is Ultra Moon, but like, I really love this game. I have, I think, 400, and oh yeah, I played it the other day. I have 410 hours on this. Really good game. Love it a lot. Yeah. Now, I got this game in I think it was September of 2019 when I went to GameStop, and I really wanted Super Mystery Dungeon, but the GameStop employee was like, nah man, we only have Gates to Infinity. And I was like, oh hey, I have never actually heard of that one, so it must be a more rare game. And I was like, okay, sure, and bought it. And honestly, am I glad I did? Because yeah, this game is actually pretty rare. It's one of the most niche Pokemon games out there, and man, I love this game. It got me through the 2020 pandemic. I played the fuck out of this thing. It's one of my favorite Pokemon games I've played in general. Overall, a very great game. I like it a lot. Honestly, I think more people should play it, should give it a try. I will say it's the only mystery dungeon I have actually completed, so I may be biased, but it's a good game. It has a really enjoyable story, in my opinion. Now we are on to the other Mystery Dungeon for the 3DS, and here we have Pokemon Super Mystery Dungeon. I did get this one in November of 2019 because even though I did get Gates to Infinity, I still, wanted Super Mystery Dungeon, so I returned to the GameStop and they did have it, so I was happy with that and bought it. And I only played this game like halfway through, but not because I didn't like it, but because like I just kind of forgot to continue my playthrough. I've gotta pick it up again someday because like it's a shame. I really wanted this game, and it's been sitting on my case for all these years. I've gotta finish it one day. I promise you. I promise you I'll finish it one day, okay? Yeah, thank you. Now, on to my next DS game. We have Soul Silver. I got this one in January of 2020 in a store in my city that sells comic books, mangas, stuff like that, action figures, but it also sometimes sells used games. And yeah, I got this second-hand copy of Soul Silver, and yeah, this is also a game I love a lot. I have, I think, 70 hours on this, which isn't as much as my other Pokemon games, but it's still a damn great game. This one also got me through. Actually, I remember finishing this one like right before lockdown started, so I also have, some kind of affection towards this. This is like the last piece of my life before lockdown. It does hold a special place in my heart. Yeah, I love you, Soul Silver. Now, I also got this game in 2020 at the start. I did get it in February, and I did play this one during lockdown. And yeah, Pokemon White is a damn good game. I had already played this one on emulator, same as Soul Silver. Um, and so like I already knew more or less what this game was like, but I still really enjoyed playing it nonetheless. I remember I grew really affectionate towards my story team in this one. It's one of my favorite teams I've had in a Pokemon playthrough. I remember using Emboar, Seismito, Dexcadrill, Amphaisant, Cofagrigus, and Levan. Yeah, it was a really nice team. Liked it a lot. Yeah, this game is also very dear to me. And now we have Platinum. I got this game in June of 2020. I remember my mom decided to buy this one to me once I finished middle school. Like I finished middle school with pretty good grades. So I was like, "Hey mom, in the store that sells used games, they have this game that I really want because I'm trying to collect Pokemon games." And she was like, "Okay, fine, I'll buy it to you." So yeah. Now, I'm not as fond of this game as I am towards like Soul Silver, White and White 2, but this game uh pretty much got me through summer of 2020 as well as Kirby Superstar. That one's also a game that I like it a lot and I'll go over it pretty soon. But yeah, this game honestly pretty good. I don't have as many fond memories of it as I said, but I mean it's a pretty rare game nonetheless. I am a proud owner of this. Now here's a game that I don't know how to feel towards because I got this game in August of 2020 because I saw it being sold at GameStop for an extremely cheap price, and I was like, oh man, this is one of the few games that is exclusive to the new Nintendo 3DS. I've gotta get this, it's super cheap. So like I bought it on impulse, and I got halfway through the story, but there's a point where I literally don't know what to do to progress. This is a game that it's so intriguing to me because like it's a game that I bought on impulse. I never looked forward to own this, but I do, and like I've never even played an actual Fire Emblem. Like my only exposure to the Fire Emblem series is spin-off that has nothing to do with like the canon games, and like I don't know how to feel about it, but it's also a very rare game nonetheless. So I mean, yeah. I'm also proud to own this one, to be honest. So there's that. One day I'll try to finish you Fire Emblem Warriors 3DS, but now's not the time, really. Sorry. Now we go a bit forward in time with a game that I bought in August of 2021, Kirby Battle Royale. This is, well, it's of course not the first Kirby game I've played. Kirby is like the game series that is the must there to me, but it's the first one I physically owned for the 3DS. And honestly, I just bought it because, like, I knew that the 3DS stopped being produced, so I was like, oh man, they're gonna stop producing this. I better get my hands on it. So yeah, I went to GameStop, saw they were selling this, and was like, fuck yeah, man, I'm buying this. And I mean, it's a nice game, honestly. Like, if you're a Kirby fan, you can appreciate the little Easter eggs and stuff, but it gets boring after a little bit. But still, I'm also proud to own this one. Um, there's a friend of mine who lives in Naples, and he told me that the GameStop that is more or less under his house has had on its shelf for a few years 3 copies of this game specifically, and he was like, I don't even have a 3DS, but I might as well buy all 3 of them because it'd be funny. And honestly, I don't think he ever actually did that, but I hope he will one day, if the copies are still there, that is. Now, sad news, I never actually bought a single physical game for the 3DS or DS in 2022, so we are going directly into 2023, and this is the first game that I actually bought in a foreign country. I bought this one in February of 2023 when I was on a school trip in England. I went to a store that sold second-hand games, and I saw this game for an extremely cheap price, and I loved the Scribblenauts Unlimited when I was a kid, so I was like, oh hey, yeah man, they're selling this for an extremely cheap price. Like, I remember it was, I think, like £4. Like, I don't really remember how much that is in euro, but that's extremely cheap. And honestly, I own this game more so because it was cheap. I haven't actually played it that much, I will say, but like, it's still a really cool game nonetheless. And yeah, I mean, of course, Scribblenauts Unlimited is tons more fun, but like, this is a cute little game for the DS, and it's actually one of the 2 DS games that I own that are not Pokemon games, so there's that as well. Now, on to my last mainline Pokemon DS game, Pokemon Diamond. As you can see, the name on this one is actually in English, because I did in fact buy this one in the UK as well. And I mean, this is a game that I really only bought because of collectionism purposes. I have not really progressed that much on this game because I will be honest, I do not like Pokemon Diamond and Pearl. I do not like them at all. They're like my least favorite mainline Pokemon games. Platinum is so much better, and oh, don't get me started on the remakes. I actually have like only 3 hours of playtime on my Brilliant Diamond copy. I do not like Pokemon Diamond and Pearl related media at all, really. Platinum is a saving grace, but like, this is still one of my favorite games to like own, because it's still kind of, I mean, I wouldn't call it a flex, but it's like, yeah, this game is pretty rare. It's older than me, kinda. I mean, actually only the Japanese version. The European and American version is younger than me, so I don't know how to feel about that. Yeah. Now, on to the last game that I bought while in the UK is Smash Bros. For the Nintendo 3DS. So I got it in February of 2023 alongside, Pokemon Diamond and Super Scribblenauts. And I mean, I had already played Super Smash Bros. For 3DS via emulation and also by downloading it through illegitimate means, on my 3DS. I have homebrew on it. So, like, I just bought it because it was pretty cheap. And I bought it for the novelty of actually having it physically, and like, yeah, it's a fun game. I mean, I prefer Ultimate as a Smash Bros game, but yeah, it is what it is. Honestly, like, it's a purchase that I do not regret to this day, honestly, because like it was cheap and because it's a game that I still enjoyed. Then we have two games that I bought in August of 2023. The first one is Kirby Planet Robobot, which is actually, I would say, maybe my favorite game on the 3DS. Probably, yeah, honestly, yeah, it's my favorite. And like, this is my second favorite Kirby game in general. I really like it a lot. And I mean, this is the same situation as Smash 3DS. I had already played this game like to completion. I just wanted to own it physically because like it's cool to own stuff physically. Honestly, like it's really mine. This is my copy. I own this. Yeah, it will remain forever with me. And like, honestly, I also do not regret buying this at all. It's my favorite 3DS game. What am I gonna do? Not have my favorite game for a console physically? That's stupid. And then we have Super Pokemon Rumble, which actually has a different name in American. I think it's Pokemon Rumble Rush, but don't take my word on that. I might as well be completely wrong. But yeah, this is also a game that I bought just because it was very cheap. And they were selling it in a store in my city that sells second-hand games, which is a different one from the one where I bought my DS Pokemon games. But like, I also bought this just for collectionism purposes. Honestly, I have not played this one a lot. But like, it's still cool to own. Now, here we have cartridge that I do have a little funny story to share with. Basically, this cartridge was bought in November of 2023, and basically, I also bought it in the same store where I bought Planet Robobot and Rumble. But basically, when I bought this one, it was the first time I met in real life my friend Mr. Fortnite. And like, I was like, hey man, let's go into that store. And he was like, okay, fine. And I saw that they were selling this game, and I was like, oh hell yeah, man, another one to add to my collection. And luckily, I had like just enough money on me to buy it at the moment. So I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna buy this one. And I do not regret it either. It's a good game, and like, just like Super Mystery Dungeon, I only played it like halfway through, but I did watch a playthrough by a YouTuber I really like. I mean, my Italian friends will know who that is, Poketonks. But yeah, I watched the playthrough of this game, and it's really good. I will also finish you one day, promise. Now, here we have games that I have bought in 2024. The first one is Yokai Watch, like the first one. I bought this one while I was on a school trip to Ireland. It was also in a store that sold second-hand games, and one of my online friends at that time had been telling me for a while to get into this series, and honestly, it looked appealing enough to me, so I decided, since it was cheap enough, to give it a shot and buy it. And I do not regret it, because I legitimately got obsessed with this series. It's so great. I'm so mad I missed out on it for all of this time. Like, really, if you have never played Yokai Watch, you should. It's like if Pokemon was like, actually no, it's not even fair to compare it to Pokemon, but like, if you like Pokemon, you will probably like this one, but do not expect it to be like Pokemon. It's a different experience that, in my opinion, is worth experiencing. And right alongside it, I bought Yokai Watch 2 Psychic Spectres, and oh man, do I love this game. This is one of the best games I ever played, like, in my life. This game is peak, and you should play it. Like, I'm not even joking, this is a game that you should play it if you ever have the opportunity. Like, download it from a shop, get it on Citra, something like that. I don't know, man. Like, it's such a great game. I loved it. It's one of my favorite games on the 3DS, one of my favorite games in general. I have, I think, 120 hours on this, which I got all during last summer. It's pretty funny. But yeah, I bought Yokai Watch 1 and 2 in February of 2024. Alongside Kirby Triple Deluxe, and this is actually the only cartridge I own that is somewhat damaged. I mean, I wouldn't call this damaged, but like it has some ink on it, I think. But I don't really care. The cartridge works just fine, and like this is actually a much more difficult game to find compared to Planet Robobot for some reason. Maybe because it's older, maybe because it sold less. Actually, I don't know if Triple Deluxe sold less than Robobot. I will have to check later. But yeah, honestly, I'm also happy with this purchase. It was not that expensive, and I finally get to own like this game physically too. And like these were all the games I bought in Ireland. Now, saving the best for last, we have a game that is actually extremely sought after, Yokai Watch 3, and I bought this one from my friend Mr. Fortnite some months ago. I actually can't remember what month was it. I actually can't remember what month it was. It must have been, I think, October or November of 2024. But, I mean, this is the game I own that I paid the most for. However, I will not say how much I paid for it because I'd feel bad about it. But yeah, I bought this one from my friend Mr. Fortnite because like he needed money to buy clothes, and I was like, okay, I'll give it to you if you sell me Yokai Watch 3, and he did, and now I am a proud owner of Yokai Watch 3, which is also a really damn good game that you should play. You should emulate this game, I'd say, because like it's nearly impossible to actually get a hold of it in real life, but like I was extremely lucky to actually get it, but it's a really good game that you should check out, and it's probably one of the games that I am the most proud of in my collection. And lastly, my most recent addition to the collection is Kirby Superstar Ultra. I got this one from eBay, and it was supposed to be my Christmas gift for 2024, but it arrived a little late. It arrived in January of this year, so this is actually the only game that I have gotten for the DS or 3DS so far in 2025. But yeah, my dad got me this one for Christmas because I did tell him this one was my favorite video game of all time, so like he decided to give it to me, which I am still very thankful for. Like, I am very happy to actually own this game. As I said earlier, Kirby Superstar is a game that is very dear to me. It carried me through summer of 2020. And when I actually got to play this remake, it changed me. I am not even joking. It's the best video game I ever played. I've played this game like 12 times. I love it to death. I love it. Everything about it, in my opinion, is great. It's the perfect blend of what old Kirby did right and what are the bases of modern Kirby games. In my opinion, this is like where the Kirby series peaked, but like all of Kirby's peak, in my opinion. I really fucking love Kirby. Have I mentioned that I love Kirby? It's my favorite video game series. But yeah, I really like this game, and I am extremely proud to own it. However, I will say, I only own the cartridge of this one because buying a copy with the box was way too expensive. Like, it was really not worth it. So, I mean, sadly, I do not have a box for this one, but I will maybe try to get one in the future. But for all of the other games that I showed off, I do have the boxes for them. However, the one of Pokemon Ultra Moon is kinda broken because Kid Me, while opening the game, accidentally tore it. I tore the plastic, and I'm still very sad about it. Like, I was sad about it immediately because it was an accident, but like I never got it replaced. I kinda want to one day. I don't know. But yeah, these were all of my physical cartridges for Nintendo DS and 3DS games. However, I will show you one last thing just to finish the video, which is my copy of Pokemon Sapphire. This is the only physical GBA game that I do own, and I got this one from eBay in January of 2024, so just a little while before going to Ireland. But yeah, this is a game that, I mean, I do not have my own save on it because it already had a pretty stacked save on it and I didn't want to delete it. And sadly, the DS Lite I was using to play it broke just some weeks after I got this cartridge, so I am kind of bummed out about it. But I I really wanna get my DS Lite repaired because I honestly wanna mess around with this game. It's really cool to like own this thing in the first place though, so it's also a part of my collection that I am extremely proud of. And with all of that out of the way, I think I'm gonna end the video here. Tell me if you guys liked it, if you would like to see more stuff like this in the future, of like just me showcasing random things, you know, like I do own a lot of stuff now that I think about it, which could be good material to make videos out of. And I hope you guys liked my collection. If you have like any cool collections, feel free to like send them to me. You can find me on other platforms, like message me on Discord. My username is the exact same as it is here on YouTube, Starly Cactus. So like, even if you just wanna talk, feel free to do so. I always love meeting new people, and I hope you guys liked my collection, and I'll see you in the future. See you guys.